Caleb, you okay back there? You need to go call home? You need to go see Miss Neely, get some medicine? Well, somebody can get you some medicine. Go to the office. Go to Miss Connect. Yes, I'll tell her you coming. All right. Okay, all I've done here is I've put the like terms together. Now, because there's a b squared term, this looks like a quadratic equation. But when I subtract b squared from both sides, what happens to it? It cancels. All right? Subtract b squared from both sides, it gets rid of both of them. So this is just a regular old equation where I've got to get b's on one side, the everything else on the other side. So I'm going to add 3b to both sides. It gives me b minus 8 is equal to 6. Then I'm going to add 8. Does 14 violate my restrictions? No, so b equals 14.
What if it does?
If it does, then it's no solution.
That's what 25 is.
Number 25 is no solution because all your d's go away. And what you're left with is a statement that's not true. Okay?
Wait, for 25, you change 1 minus d to d minus 1?
Yes, and then it makes it plus instead of minus on that final fraction. Let's do number 25, and then we're going to move on to the next lesson. There's also factoring that needs to be done in number 25. Okay. If you start by factoring, we see here that this is a trinomial, and it can be factored to d plus 4, d minus 1, right? Okay, and then if you just look at all your denominators, the d is first, the d is first, the d is first, the d is second. Well, how can we just, instead of saying 1 minus d, what do we have to do to be able to flip it around and say d minus 1? You have to factor out a negative 1, which is going to change subtraction to addition. Okay? So now we're ready to identify our restrictions. What can d not equal?
Negative 4 plus minus
1 or negative 4. We need to identify our common denominators, which is what? D plus 4, d minus 1. We need to reduce our fractions. And we need to multiply our stuff out. Here I've got d minus 1. There, all I'm left with is 2. And over here I have d plus 4. Now, when I subtract d from both sides, there is no more d. So my answer is either going to be no solution or all real numbers. Now, how do I tell the difference? I finish this off and I see, is this true or is this false? That is false. So it's no solution. If it had been true, if we got 6 equals 6, your answer would be all real numbers. Yes?
All real numbers means like any number can make a statement.
Any number, except for 1 and negative 4. So any fraction, any decimal, any whole number, positive, negative, whatever. We'll solve the thing. Okay? All right. Today is March 2nd. And we are continuing section 9.6. Today we're going to deal with inequalities. Now with the inequalities, we're still going to solve it just like the equations we just solved. The only difference is when you see it's an inequality, when you're done, you have to test some regions on the number line. Okay, so everything else is the same. You just have some testing that needs to be done. All right? Which is what I said here. And I want you to write that statement down so that when you come back and you see what you did, you'll remember why you did what you did.
Lord.
I've been recording. Thank you, though. Y'all done? Okay. First thing we're going to do is we are going to state our excluded values, which means what can our answer not be? Our restrictions on the denominators. Then we're going to solve this thing like an equation. So we're actually going to replace the inequality symbol with an equal sign, and we're going to solve. And because this is an inequality, you don't have just one answer. You have answers like x is greater than 2, or x is less than 2 and greater than negative 3. So we have to test our regions, and it's all going to make sense in a second.
Wait, you cancel out the inequality and
You just replace it with an equal sign. You just solve it like an equation.
what happens if you get to like where you have to multiply a negative to the other side? So
You don't worry about it. That's why you just take your testing at the end. You solve it like an equation. I'll show you. Can I flip this slide? All right. We are going to solve this inequality. First question to you is this. How many terms are there? 3 terms. Now, the inequality symbol is going to be used when we test this thing, and it lets us know that we have to test. But when we solve this, we're going to solve it like an equation. Okay, so that's where you have to identify, all right, when I'm done with this, I need to test the number line. Okay? All right, if you were going to solve this as an equation, first thing we say is what are our restrictions? A can't equal 0. All right, next we're going to find out what A does equal. Common denominator is 8A. 8A.